Hi, I'm Peter Gould. For more than 20 years now, I've been creating award-winning television, radio, and motion picture projects. And I'm leading the team putting together a new theatrical documentary called INFRINGED, Second Amendment in the Crosshairs. Here's why.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
The horrible shootings on the Virginia Tech campus, 22 people killed.
More guns, very simply, lead to more violence.
Shooting at Century Theaters, 14. We're saying somebody's shooting in the auditorium.
We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
6-7 St. Hook School. Callers indicating she thinks there's someone shooting in the building.
Just because you have an individual right does not mean that the state or local government can't constrain the exercise of that right.
If we allow the government, President Obama, through executive order, through rule, regulation, or law, to take out the Second Amendment, what we've effectively done is open the door for them to take away all our other constitutional rights.
The language of the Second Amendment is so simple. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, we're the people. Keeping, as in owning or storing in your house, and bearing, as in carrying with you when you go out of your house. How simple can you get? And yet somehow, some of today's ruling class want to revoke that right.
You've probably heard the term low information voter. Those are people who form opinions based on their emotions instead of on facts. A lot of them have been misled because they've been fed so much misinformation by the media that they don't even know there's a whole other side to the gun rights issue. This movie can change that because there is another side, and it can be presented so compellingly that it can make people start to question what they've been told.
An oppressive government was what sparked the American Revolution more than 200 years ago. That's why passage of the Bill of Rights, 10 amendments to the Constitution guaranteeing individual liberties, was so important to the founders. Most people in the country today aren't even taught the rationale behind the Bill of Rights, why it was passed, and the importance of preserving each one of those rights.
We have to decide whether the Bill of Rights, including the Second Amendment, is something given to us by our Creator, and we have those rights from birth and they're immune to government intrusion, or if those rights are created and bestowed upon us by government. Because if they are, then not just Second Amendment rights can be taken away, but every single one of the others.
As a director, when I think of the word infringed, I usually think of copyright infringement, which involves stealing a right that belongs to somebody else. So when I hear anyone from a citizen to a politician say, I support the Second Amendment, but, after the but, here it comes, undermining the Second Amendment and stealing the rights that belong to the people.
So many documentaries are nothing but a parade of talking heads. We don't want to do that. And we don't want to just do pans and scans of some artist's conception of what the passage of the Bill of Rights looked like. That won't engage the audience we're trying to reach, and it won't create the kind of understanding that can change the national dialogue. What we want to do is bring it to life, to take you there, using actors in period costumes and settings to recreate just what happened, and using the actual words of the Founding Fathers to show you why. Then we'll come forward in time through some more recent historical references, and then in the present day show how the Second Amendment is just as applicable now as when it was passed.
We've recruited some of the leading constitutional experts in the world for this project. Professors who've taught classes on it, scholars who've written textbooks about it, lawyers who've won Second Amendment cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. And we're not stopping there. We're also interviewing law enforcement officers, firearms experts, mental health professionals, and citizens who've successfully used firearms, including so-called assault weapons, to defend themselves and their families against crime.
So this is where you come in. We've got a great team. We know how to do this. We can produce a fantastic documentary that can open a lot of eyes and change a lot of minds. But let's face it, no documentary on the Second Amendment is ever going to be funded by Hollywood. For that, we need you. To put the budget for a production like this in perspective, consider last year's runaway success, 2016 Obama's America, was made on a $2.5 million budget. Now, Obama's America required international travel, and we don't. But Infringed requires period reenactments and present-day dramatizations involving hundreds of cast and crew members shooting on historically accurate locations. It requires shooting numerous high-end interviews throughout the country, licensing costly network news footage, custom music scoring, and all the work necessary to prepare a finished motion picture for distribution to movie theaters. So we project the budget for Infringed at an even $2 million. To help make Infringed possible, contact us at 888-233-0340. That's 888-233-0340. Or send email to pgould@infringethemovie.com.